Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zada Fehri Tazkiya. Here I would like to explain about translation. Translation, by dictionary definition, consists of changing from one state or form to another to turn into one own or another language. A translation is text derived from another text in another language, exhibiting qualities of equivalence to that source text, such that the derived text can be taken as a substitute for the original text. And then the differences between translation and interpretation. The key difference between translation and interpretation lies within the choice of communication channel. Simply put, translation deals with written communication, while interpreting is all about the spoken word or live translation. And then why translation is important. Translation service can solve your communication and cultural differences. You can easily enrich your thoughts with the help of right translation service. Next is translation theory. Translation cannot be separate from theory. Theory is a basic in translation. Theory basis that provides the rule and meaning in translation by which every translation can be measured. It must be an appropriate translation determination, and it should be measured by suitable theory. And there are some definitions. 1. Theory is a basic in translation. 2. Translation is a process to transform to other languages. 3. Translation theory is used to transform one language to another language to get good translation. And then the next is some translation theory by expert. Number 1 is Catford translation theory. The definition is the replacement of textual material in one language or such language by equivalent textual material in another language or target language. For example, to translate the phrases "saya sedang sedih" into English, translators must be aware about the grammatical structure of the source and target language. The translators need to choose to translate the text to be "I'm sad" or "I was sad." Number 2 is Newmark translation theory. According to Newmark, translation is rendering the meaning of a text into another language in the way that author intended the text. And 3. Nida and Tabor translation theory. According to Nida and Tabor, translation is a rewriting of the message contained in the source language in the target language to find similarities. Number 4. Mildred L. Larson translation theory. Translation is basically a change of form. According to Larson, when we speak of the form of a language, we are referring to the actual words, phrases, clauses, sentences, and paragraphs, which are spoken or written. These forms are referred to as the surface structure of a language. It is the structural part of the language which is actually seen in print or heard and speech. Number 5, Breslin translation theory. According to Breslin, translation is a remote strategy of ideas and thought from the source language to the other language in written or orally. It means translation is a general term referring to transfer of thoughts and ideas from one language to another. 6. Will's translation theory. Translation is a cognitive activity and as intermediaries operating ways in understanding the source text and ways that produce the text back into the target language. And then the kinds of translation. There are some kinds of translation. Roman Jacobson divided translation into 3: interlingual translation, and intersemitic translation. Next, kinds of translation according to Fehri. Number 1 is perfect translation. Perfect translation is a kind of translation that is often to see in public area. For example, the source text is dilarang merokok, and then the target text is no smoking. Dilarang bermain di dalam taman, and then the target text keep out. For this kind of text, the most important thing is the source message is transformed well with the same meaning in the target text. Number 2 is adequate translation. This translation is made for readers who aim to get the general information of the text for fun readings. The example of this translation is popular novel and short stories translation. Maybe the novel entitled Harry Potter, written by J.K. Rowling. And 3 is composite translation. Composite translation is a series translation of literatures. The translation is made well enough to make the message, meaning, and style of the short text can be transformed well in the target language. And then number 4, research and technical translation. This kind of translation is made for translating text related to science or techniques. For example, translating books related to computer science from English to Indonesia in order to develop the information about computer in Indonesia. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.